Okay.
Until next week, for me, revision exams are starting. Like, I have to go to school and write. From 20th, continuous exams are there, Auntie. I might not attend 2 classes. I'm not sure, Auntie.
Okay. You inform me before so that I can.
Yes, Auntie.
Okay, I will. I'll just check whether I'm recording. Yeah, got a doubt. I'm not able to pin myself. I don't know why. Okay. No, I'm not able to do it. It's okay. Anyway, they are able to see the board and listen to me. Okay. So many questions are asked in solid state. I will tell you how difficult it can be. Okay. So, see, you write down this. I told Rishi to form the table actually. Simple cubic, BCC, FCC. What are the information we have? We have lattice points. What are the lattice points? Lattice points. This is 8, this is 9 and this is 14. Lattice points means number of constituent particles in one unit cell of the cube. Then what is the coordination number? Coordination number 6. Coordination number 6. Each is surrounded by 6. And here it is 8. And in FCC, what is the coordination number? What is the coordination number in FCC or CCP or HCP? All the three mean the same. What is the coordination number? 12. This is all
Well,
very important points. Okay, coordination number. Okay. Now, then what else we did? Packing fraction we did, but packing fraction only. Packing efficiency. This is 52.4%, 68%, 74%. We have derived. I derived this that day. Okay, how you got that? After the packing fraction, we did D, A and R. Okay, D is equal to what here? D is equal to A. That is equal to 2R. I derived this. So, R is equal to A by 2. Okay. Oh, sorry. I wrote it. Wait. I should have written it under this. Okay. I made a mistake. Wait. Here I should. R is equal to A by 2 or D by 2. We are going to work out problems on all these. Okay. Then, what about...
Auntie, what is the subtopic of this, Auntie?
Pardon?
What is the topic, Auntie, for this? The last one?
Topica. What do you mean by that?
No, I mean like coordination number, packing efficiency, like that, no, Auntie. Like that for the last one, what is it I'm asking?
See, I finished till the density derivation. Okay. Now, today I am going to discuss about the voids, octohedral and tetrahedral voids, relationship between the size of the sphere and the void. Listen to me very carefully. I am going to derive it and you are going to learn the derivation because it's not given in the textbook, but they have asked in the book back. You are supposed to know that. And I am going to do radius ratio, and based on the radius ratio range, you can determine the structure of the crystal. That is also very, very important. Last year and all it was there. I don't know why they have removed it now from the textbook, but that's very important, often asked. Okay. So this you write it down. This is very important. So for this, D is equal to, for BCC, what it is? Root 3 A by 2. R is equal to root 3 A by 4. Okay, and this is equal to D is equal to A by root 2. R is equal to A by 2 root 2. 2 root 2. So this is equal to Z. This you if you know this is better. So that you need not have that root and all. Okay. So this is equal to 0.433A. This is 866A. So if you know the fraction, you can directly calculate. They'll give you edge length. You can directly determine the radius or the distance between the two neighboring atoms. D is the distance between the two neighboring atoms. R is the radius of the particle. And A is the edge length of the crystal. Write down this because we are going to work out problems on this. See if they
Auntie, can you send a picture? It's very pixelated for me.
Oh, okay. See if they ask you packing fraction, you have to write it as 0.524. Packing efficiency, if they ask, it is for percentage. Then you will write it as 50. This is very, very important. Even at midnight, you should be able to say this. Packing efficiency 52.4, simple qubit, BCC 68.4 and FCC 74%. And this is the FCC is the most efficient because lot of space is occupied. They will ask you the space occupied and the space left, empty space. So you have to subtract from 100 and write the empty space and the space occupied. So I'll just send you the pic. You just go through this. Okay. Over. Now before working out the problems and all these, I am going to work out problems. Okay, and that also I gave you. That is edge length of NaCl is equal to 2 into 2 times, that also very important, A plus plus B minus. They will give you radius of the cation, radius of the anion. Edge length will be equal to A is equal to 2 times that. This is very important. When you work out problems in solids. Good evening, Steve. Okay. So, till here we are done. I think Steve attended the class. Steve attended and he wrote it. Okay, this you mark it very important and write it down. I will tell you when you are going to use that. Now, after this, now we will see the most interesting part in solid state. Okay, now what is the most interesting part? You know that if you have an ionic compound, you will have cation and you will have anions. Okay, so now see, for having the maximum packing, okay, maximum packing, the cation should be surrounded by maximum number of anions and anions should be surrounded by maximum number of cations. Then only packing is very efficient. Okay, okay. So now you know that if you have a close packing arrangement, you will have both tetrahedral and octahedral voids. Okay, tetrahedral and octahedral voids. Tetrahedral voids void means it is surrounded by 4 spheres. Octahedral void means it is surrounded by 6 spheres. Okay, 6 spheres. And you know that tetrahedral void is bigger than the octahedral void is bigger than the tetrahedral void. Okay, now for an ionic compound, if you have A plus and B minus ions, A plus are cations and B minus are anions. Normally what is done is, but not in all the cases, there are exceptions. Normally anions will form the packing. Anions are always bigger than the cations. Remember, anions means you are adding an electron extra, force of attraction decreases and the ion expands. So anion is bigger than the cation. So anion will form the packing and cations will occupy the voids. Cations will, and I have also told you, not all the tetrahedral or not all the octahedral voids are occupied. Some may be left empty. Okay, it doesn't, and it does, also you cannot say that all the voids are occupied. It depends on the chemical formula of the compound. If you know how many voids are filled, you can know the formula. Or if you know the formula, you can know how many voids are filled. Both are possible. We are going to work out problems on both. How to find out that. And very important is that the radius of the void, if I represent it by small r, is related to the radius of the sphere. Sphere means, here I mean the particle. So radius of the void is related to radius of the sphere. So size of the spheres determine the size of the voids. Okay, how they are related. Now I know that the cations are bigger than the anions. So now if you say that this is the radius of the tetrahedral void, for the tetrahedral void, it is related to the sphere as 0.225 r. I am going to derive this. This they have asked in the book pack. How they are related. This is the radius of the tetrahedral void. Radius of the octahedral void is related to the radius of the, write down this. This is very important. Radius of the tetrahedral void is equal to radius of the 0.225 radius of the sphere. Now, as I told you, anions form the sphere and cations occupy the voids. So, for the cations occupying the tetrahedral voids, what is not clear? What I have written on the board or my audio?
And the board is not clear.
Okay, but whatever I am saying is it clear?
Yes, that is clear, aunty. Audio is clear.
Okay, Steve. So, radius of the tetrahedral void r is equal to 0.225 capital R, where a capital R is the radius of the sphere. Write it down. If you have, you just take a pen and paper and write down whatever I say. I am going to say it orally also, and after I derive, I will take a pick and set. Okay, so that it will be clear. Radius of the octahedral void is equal to small r. Small r represents the radius of the void. Small r is equal to 0.414 r. Very important, both the derivations I am going to do. Okay, now if the cations occupy the tetrahedral void, then r plus is equal to, and I know that packing is from the anions. So, if r represents the radius of the, one by one everybody is joining. Good, good. Rishi also joined. Very important. Properly you joined, Rishi. So, radius of the cation R plus is equal to 0.225 radius of the anion. And radius of the cation, if it is occupying octahedral void, that equal to 0.414 R minus. Now I will send the pic. I will send the pic. If it is not clear, I will tell you. Wait. I will send you the notes. Don't worry. I have read. She has written it very neatly. So, for cations occupying tetrahedral void, it is R plus is equal to 0.225 R minus. You should know this. And for cations occupying octahedral void, R plus is equal to 0.414 R minus. So, you know that maximum size of the cation can be the size of an octahedral void. Maximum size of the cation occupying can be the size of the octahedral void. Bigger than that, it cannot occupy. It can be smaller. It can be smaller. That means if it is smaller, it is not close packed. It will not have good density. Density will be less. But it cannot be smaller than 0.225 R, bigger than 0.414 R. Okay, like that it is. Small, the lower range is 0.225, higher range is 0.414. Okay, now very important is that these play an important role in the interstitial compounds. I am going to talk about defects. Very interesting topic. Defects, I will talk about it. You know that you have small atoms like carbides, nitrides, borides. All these, they occupy the interstitial spaces. Interstitial, that is, you have a metal like iron. You have iron. Okay. Now, in that iron, in that lattice, in the voids, you will have boron, carbon, nitrogen, like that. Small atoms like that. That is second period atoms. They are very small. They will occupy. Okay. And you know that voids are also called as interstices. And so those compounds are called as interstitial compounds. Okay. So, now what I am going to do is, before I derive the relation, how I got these, I am going to derive this relation. Before that, I will tell you why you are studying this, what is the significance of this. Okay, why you are studying this. If you know this, see, you know that anions form the packing and cations occupy the voids. Okay, now, for the stability of the compound, cation should be occupied by maximum number of anions and vice versa. If they have the maximum, so what will happen is that they will have maximum electrostatic force of attraction. When they have maximum electrostatic force of attraction, the crystal will be very stable. So that stability of the, because see, for the ionic bonds, it is their non-directional. Unlike covalent bonds, ionic bonds are non-directional. So, only the size of the cations, anions determine the geometry of the crystal. Very important point. For an ionic crystal, size of the anions determine the geometry of the crystal. Okay. So, it depends on what is the size of the cation, size of the anion, which is given by what is known as radius ratio. Very important. RR we say. Radius ratio. What is radius ratio? It is the ratio of radius of the cation R plus by radius of the anion. Radius of the anion R minus. Okay, what is radius ratio? It is the ratio of radius of the cation R plus by radius of the anion R minus. Now, you know that, remember, you know that cations are smaller than anion. That means numerator is high. When the numerator is high, radius ratio will be always less than 1. Maximum is it can have be 1. Radius of the cation anion can be same. That is the maximum. Otherwise, in most of the cases, radius of the anion is high, so that radius ratio is less than 1. So, if you know this is also asked. If you know the radius ratio, you can know the structure of the crystal. You can know the coordination number of the crystal, ions, everything you can know. How? I will tell you. This is known as radius ratio rules. Okay? That this is applicable for a ionic type A plus B minus. I am going to tell you different cases of A plus B minus. Okay, NaCl, CSCl, ZnS, all are AB type but different structures. That is also asked. How many voids are occupied? In which it is occupied? Octahedral or tetrahedral? Alternate tetrahedral or alternate octahedral? All that. I will give you every information. Listen to me carefully. Now, so they are ruled by the radius ratio rules. What is that rule? If you know the radius ratio, you can know the coordination number and you can know the geometry of the crystal. Geometry of the crystal. So, how will you know that? So, for that, there is a table. Okay. If it is 0.155 to 0.225, 0.155 to 0.225 radius. I am going to work out problems on this. If you know this range, that means coordination number is 3. Coordination number is 3 and it will be triangular planar. Triangular planar. Example B2O3 like that. Okay. Now 0.225 to 0.414. If the radius ratio is in this range 0.225 to 0.414, the coordination number will be 4 and it will be tetrahedral. It will be tetrahedral. Example will be ZnS. ZnS type. There is one ore called sperrylite. That is also ZnS. I will tell you the difference between sperrylite and ZnS later. Okay. So, the example will be ZnS and you can also have other examples like all copper salts, CuCl, CuBr, CuI, all of them have this structure. You remember at least 2-3 under each, that's enough. Now, if the radius ratio is between 0.414 to 0.732, 0.414 to 0.732, why am I giving the range? It need not be necessarily like exactly it will have 0.414 or 0.732. It can be in between. Okay, so coordination number will be 6 and it is rock salt type. I mean, this will be octahedral. Sorry, structure I didn't write. Octahedral, it will be rock salt type. That is NaCl, sodium chloride type. NaCl, NaBr, NaI, HGS, so many are there. I will give you all the examples. Okay, they all belong to that type. If it is 0.732 to 1, if this is the range, coordination number will be 8 and this will be BCC, body centered cube. Example CSCl, cesium chloride type. So cesium chloride, cesium iodide, cesium bromide, all of them have the same structure. Okay, so this is the radius ratio range. Coordination number, this will be the geometric structure. Example. So I will send you the pic and I'll send you the notes also. You don't have to worry. But is it clear? Now the board is clear, kids?
Auntie, not really.
Now clear, auntie.
Now clear, huh? For Bharadwaj it is Steve.
Auntie, can you move?
Is the board clear? I just want to know. because I'm going to derive, no? Like if it is clear, you can write it down, copy it neatly. That's why. Clear, very good. Okay, but for Krupa, I will send the pic. Anyway, I'm going to send the notes, Krupa, don't worry. I'm going to send the notes. Now the question is, how did I get, before I derive that. Now, so if the range, they will give you radius of the cation, radius of the anion. Divide it. Cation by anion, you divide it. If you get in this range, you say the shape as triangular planar. If you get range between 0.225 and 414, it will be tetrahedral. And it is between 414 to 0.732, it is octahedral. And 0.732 to 1, it is 8 BCC. Okay, so see 0.7, if the radius of the cation is 0.732, it will completely fit in. If it is below that, it is loosely packed. There is space left. If it is bigger than that, then the ions cannot touch each other. Anions cannot touch each other. Okay, so if it is exactly in that range, it will be perfect. But you cannot have a perfect geometry always. Okay, so what happens? You cannot here also. See, if it is 414 exactly they will touch. All of them will touch like this. Like this, it will be touching. But if it is bigger than that, what happens? This becomes bigger. They cannot touch each other. They will become like this. Like this. Something like this. So they will not touch each other because this has become bigger. They move away. Okay, they cannot touch. It's actually very complicated. Solid state science itself is highly complicated. And you are just studying cube, simple cube, and that too a small portion of it. Imagine studying all the 14 Bravais lattices. It's highly huge chapter, huge one it is. Okay, so this is the thing. Now, if it is exactly 414, it will completely fit in. Since it is bigger, anions cannot touch each other. In NaCl, it's like that. Why I am saying is in NaCl, it's like that. R plus by R minus is 0.525. So, it is not 414, so that chloride ions move away. They don't touch each other. Okay, so that is the thing. Now I am going to derive the relationship. This is asked. I am not doing anything extra. This is asked. So, radius of the tetrahedral void is equal to 0.225 radius of the sphere. This is tetrahedral void. And radius of the octahedral void is equal to 0.414 radius of the sphere. I am going to derive both now. They have asked only this in the book back, but I will derive this also. If they ask, you should be able to answer that. Okay. Now, how will you derive this? To derive that, what I will do is, first, I will derive this. Okay, because octahedral void deriving is easier. That's all. I will derive this later because that is easier. First, I will derive that. Now imagine a octahedral void. Okay. Let me keep my duster. Actually, how I should write this? Can you see the, I write it in a different color. Can you see that?
Yes, auntie.
I will write the spheres in pink and that R, and I will write the void in green. I have
Auntie, the color difference is not very so visible, auntie.
color differences is not seen.
No, auntie. Everything's like white only.
Oh my god. Okay. Now imagine, see, okay, I have imagine the radius of the tetravoid here is small r. Radius of the tetrahedral void is small r and radius of the sphere is big R. Okay, now what I do is I will take the center of the void, let it be A, and center of these spheres, let it be B and C. So I will join that. I will join that. Now you know that AB is equal to AC, that equal to radius of the void plus radius of the sphere, that is R plus R. R plus R. Whereas BC will be equal to 2R. Because R plus R, that is equal to 2R. Now, if you in the triangle ABC, BC square is equal to AB square plus AC square. In the triangle ABC, right angle triangle ABC, BC square is equal to AB square plus AC square. So, BC square is what? 2R whole square. That equal to AB is R plus R. Okay, AB is equal to R plus R. And what is AC equal to? R plus R whole square plus R plus R whole square. So, this is equal to 2 into R plus R whole square. This they have asked in the book. Okay, R plus R whole square. Now what I do? 2R whole square by 2 is equal to R plus R whole square. So I can cancel 1, 2. So 2R square is equal to R plus R whole square. R plus R whole square. Or if I take the square root, root 2R is equal to R plus R. Root 2R is equal to R plus R. So then root 2R minus R is equal to R. Root 2 is 1.414 minus 1 equal to R, or R is equal to, sorry, I forgot another R. R is equal to R. So, R is equal to, this they have asked. R is equal to 0.414 R. Root 2 is nothing but 0.414. Now, if it is not clear, I will take a pic and send it to you and I will explain it again. Okay, now see, consider an octahedral void. An octahedral void is touching 4 spheres in its plane and one above, one below. And that one above, one below I am not showing. I am just showing the 4 spheres which it is touching, and I am showing the octahedral void. Okay, let the radius of the void be small r and radius of the sphere be capital R. So, then you consider the center point of the void as A, center point of one sphere as B and other as C. Now you can see in the picture whatever I have sent. It's very clear there. So, AB and AC is equal to R plus R. BC equal to 2R. So, if you consider the triangle ABC, BC square is equal to AB square plus AC square. AB, AC both are R plus R. So, this is 2R. If you substitute, you will get this. And you take the square root. And if you substitute root 2, you will get R equal to 4.414 capital R. Is that very clear?
Yes, auntie.
Okay. Now what I am going to do is, I am going to derive this now. Tetrahedral void is equal to 0.225. This is more interesting. Listen to me carefully, but shall I erase it?
Yes, auntie.
Okay. I will erase it because I need more space to write the entire derivation. That is why. Okay. Now what I do is, I will consider a cube. Oh, okay. I will write it in dotted lines so that I can show the sphere properly. Okay. That is the reason. This is more interesting. Okay. Okay, I will write it in pink, the spheres. Now, you consider this sphere, and you consider this sphere, and you consider this sphere, and you consider this sphere. Why I am doing that? Because I want a tetrahedral shape, so that I can say that there is a void created inside that a tetrahedron, which is a tetrahedral void. So, for that, this I will name it as A. Okay, I will name this as B. Wait, I'll make E, F, C, D, B. A, B, C, D, E, F I will write. Now what I do is, which color shall I take? Blue, I think I can take. Now, I will join this. A and D I will join, or I will join with a strong line. You can see that. And I will also join A and B. I will tell you why I am doing that. Can you see the picture now? Is that clear?
No, auntie, it's not good.
It is not good?
No, auntie.
Okay, I will send the picture of the diagram, then you can understand it clearly. See, I have sent a picture of the diagram. Okay, now just look at the picture and try to learn. Okay, now A, E, F, they form the base of the triangular base, and this will form the top, the D. Okay, B will form the top. And now you say that there is a tetrahedral void created at the center of this. Okay, there is a tetrahedral void. See, you remember that though I have written, they are so far from each other, they are all touching each other. The tetrahedral void is touching A and D. It is right at the center, like this it is. Okay, so all of them are touching each other. This is also diagonally opposite, but it is also touching. A and B is also touching, like that. They are all like this it is. Okay, I cannot show it. Like this is like this. So they are all touching each other. Okay, so Okay, now we will derive. Now, in the triangle, now you look at the picture and tell me, in the triangle ABC, how can I apply Pythagoras theorem? Tell me, in the triangle ABC.
AB square is equal to AC square plus BC square.
Very good boy. AC square plus BC square. And very important point I forgot to tell. That is a length of the cube. H length, let it be A. That means what? AC equal to A, BC equal to A, BD is equal to A. Everything. All are A only. Okay. Now tell me, what is AB equal to? Okay. AB you leave. What is AC equal to? Length of the edge length is A. So AC is also equal to A.
That is also A and T.
A. So it is A square plus A square, that equal to 2A square. AB square is equal to 2A square. So what is AB equal to? AB square is equal to 2A square. So
Root of 2A square.
huh?
Root of 2A square.
Root 2A. Square root of A square is A, no?
Yes, and
So root 2. All of you are understanding this? Steve, Rishi, Krupa? Nobody is answering.
Yes, auntie.
Okay. So AB is equal to root 2A. Okay. Now AB is also equal to R plus R. It is like this, touching. This is R, this is R. Actually, this is the face diagonal. They are touching each other. That is equal to 2R. So, therefore, 2R is equal to root 2A, or R is equal to root 2 by 2A. Or this can be written as A by root 2. R is equal to A by root 2. Okay. So, A by root 2. We got this now. A by root 2. How did we get this? We considered ABC. AB square is equal to AC square plus BC square. So, we got it as AB equal to root 2A. And AB is also equal to 2R. So, we equated left hand side same. So, we equated the right hand side. 2R is equal to root 2A, or R is equal to root 2 by 2A, or A by root 2. Now, consider in the triangle ABD. In the triangle ABD, AD square is equal to AB square plus BD square. In the triangle ABD, AD square is equal to AB square plus BD square. Now, I will tell you what is AD. First listen to me. What is AB equal to? AB equal to root 2A. So, root 2A whole square plus BD is the edge length, that is A square. So, this will be equal to, if you do this, you will get 2A square plus A square, that equal to 3A square, or AD equal to root 3A. AD equal to root 3A. Okay. Now AD is also equal to, as I told you, AD is like this. Sphere here, tetrahedral void here, another sphere here. So, this is big R, small r, big R. So, it is 2 times R plus R. You understood this? How it is that 2 times R plus R? See, this tetrahedral void is touching. This is A, this is tetrahedral void, this is D. So, this is big R, small r. So r plus r, and this is again small r, big R. So it will be 2 times r plus r. Understood, kid?
Yes, auntie.
Very good. So AD is equal to 2 into r plus r. So AD is also equal to root 3a. AD is also equal to 2 into r plus r. So I will equate the right hand side. Equate the right hand side. So then what will happen now? Okay. Now what I do is I will put this like this on the right hand. I will tell you why I am doing. Read. Now what I do, I will divide this and this. Now I have got this and I have got this. I will divide, I will make it 1 and 2. I will divide 2 by 1. So it will be 2 into r plus r is equal to root 3a divided by r is equal to a by root 2. If you divide, it will be a by root 2. What shall I do now? I'll put it down. Okay. A by root 2. Okay. So when I do that, it will be, I can take this root 2 up. So when I take this, I have to write one more step. Okay, that's okay. See, this 2 can be written as root 2 into root 2. I can cancel one root 2. I can skip one step, but I don't know whether you will be able to follow. So I will write it. So root 3 into root 2a by a. I will cancel. Here root 2 into root 2. So I will cancel 1. It will be root 2 into r plus r by r is equal to root 3. So I can take it as r plus r by r is equal to root 3 by root 2. So this can be written as 1 plus r by r. That equal to root 3 by root 2, or r by r is equal to root 3 by root 2 minus 1. So this is equal to root 3 is 1.732, or this can also be written as root 3 minus root 2 by root 2. If you take the LCM, so this will be 1.414 by 1.414. This comes out to be point. If you calculate, you can see it comes out to be 0.225, or I have done something ulta. R is equal to 0.225 R. You should get the other way. I did it. I think I did it the other way. Oh. Here I have made some mistake. Oh, here. Only here I have made a mistake. R by R. R by R. Oh, here I have this is capital. Okay, so I think there is some mistake I have done. So this will be R is equal to 0.225 R. Oh, mistake was here. It is not too small r, it is too capital R. AB, correct. I just made a mistake over here. AB is equal to 2 capital R. It is not small r. So I will just repeat how I did that. First you consider the triangle ABC. Look at the picture. You got AB as equal to root 2a. AB is also equal to 2r. Because 2 times the radius of the sphere. If you equate both, you get r is equal to a by root 2. Again, if you consider the triangle ABD, AD square you got it as root 3a, and AD is also equal to 2 times r plus r. Equate both and divide this by this. You are going to, if you just simplify that, you are going to get it as r is equal to 0.225 capital R. I will send a picture now. It will be very clear. Krupa, just go through the picture. It is now it will be clear. Okay, learn the derivation properly. It's easy. It's not very difficult. It's easy. Very important thing here is I'll give you the different crystals later. Because if I tell that also, no, it will be very confusing. So I will tell you those things later. Now you understood both the derivations. You understood both the derivations, kids?
I understood, auntie.
You understood,
Can
but you will
go
have
through this one second, auntie. 1 minute.
see, you have to derive it. Then only you will learn. It looks you have understood. But if you don't derive it, you will not know exactly what you are doing. So take a paper and derive both. Tetrahedral and octahedral void is easier than tetrahedral void actually. Okay, so you derive both and learn, and very important you have to learn is the radius ratio rules. You have to know the range, you have to know the structural arrangement. You have to know. What they do, no, they give the radius of the cation anion. They'll ask you to predict the structure. Then you should be able to know. Okay, now what we will do is I'll send the notes. Don't worry, I'll send the notes. I have Rakshana's notes. I'll send you that notes. So I am going to work out problems on everything. The table what I gave and the radius ratio, predicting the structure, everything I will work it out. Before that, we are going to work out the in-text questions on the number of voids, and we just finished on density. I'll work out more problems later. On density also different board exam problems I have taken. I am doing all the board exam problems only. Okay, so that it will be covered. I would have covered the syllabus properly. See, I found out that they are asking from in-text and book back, and I've collected from different board exam papers. Almost 5-6 years, no more than that I have taken. All the problems I have taken. So, in-text very important. Okay, so we will do that. There are few in-text, and then we will start with the radius ratio problem and DAR. You have to know that properly. For simple cubic, D equal to A, that equal to 2R. For BCC, D equal to root 3 by 2A, or R is equal to root 3 4 by A. And for FCC, it is equal to R equal to A by root 2, D equal to A by root 2, R is equal to A by 2 root 2. That's all. And I have given the fraction also. Very important. Learn the fraction. It is easier to multiply. Easier to know. Okay. So we'll work out problems on problems also. And they will ask the length of the body diagonal. See, lot of imagination is required. In spite of doing so much, I could not answer so many questions in the book. In multiple choice, I wanted to answer one paper. It was so, really I tell you, it's really tough, solid state. So I have covered so much. In spite of it, I found it difficult. So textbook material is not at all enough. So I'll give you extra. I'll tell you how to predict everything. I'll tell you, learn everything neatly. Even the defects, I'll tell you, I will do the defect. Then you will know how it is given in the textbook. Okay.
Auntie, Auntie, I was going through the photo you sent, Auntie. In the right hand side, there is a step, Auntie. Root 2 R plus R by small r you have written it. Is that small r or
No, big R. See, small r will be the void. It is actually AB will be bigger, 2 times bigger.
Yes, auntie, but in that step alone you have written small r. Right column, right hand side, auntie. This side, uh, one, one, two, three, four, fifth step, auntie. Right, auntie. Towards the top, right.
Here,
That step.
yes. Good observation. I changed everywhere. I missed it over here. Okay. Correct. See, that is little confusing actually. Void is smaller. Sphere is bigger. That you have to be little careful. That's all. Okay. Now I will do the in-text questions and then I will do the problems and all these edge length. You will think so well. I'll tell you, your whole knowledge will improve. Okay. Now we'll finish off with the in-text first. Who will answer? Bharadwaj. First Bharadwaj. What is the two-dimensional coordination number of a molecule in square close packed layer?
6, auntie.
Yeah. You are having square close packed, one layer and below that another layer. That's all. You didn't get it. See, you have like this, another like this, another like this, one below the other. So what is the coordination number of this? It is touching 4 spheres.
Oh, okay, auntie. Like this we have to do. Okay.
Coordination number of that.
4, auntie.
4. That is why I gave the table. And I gave the table, no. Coordination, lattice, number, packing, fraction, everything. There you add examples also. I gave the examples also last class.
Auntie, in the table we have written 6, auntie.
That is 3-dimensional. I have written 3-dimensional.
Yes, auntie.
But they are asking 2-dimensional.
Okay, auntie.
Okay. Now, Krupa will work out this problem. All of you will work it out and she will say the answer. A compound forms hexagonal close packed structure. Hexagonal close packed structure. Sometimes it's really confusing in solid state. See, hexagonal close packing, HCP, CCP, FCC, all the 3 are same. But HCP, they are same in the respect that, remember, listen to me very carefully. CCP, FCC are same. If I say cubic close packing or face centered close packing, they are same, exactly same. And in both, number of atoms, if it is n, octahedral voids will be n, tetrahedral voids will be 2n. Even in HCP, even in hexagonal close packing, if the number of atoms is n, tetrahedral voids will be 2n, octahedral voids will be n. But remember what you have, there is a change, the Z effective will change. Z effective in FCC is 4. So 4 octahedral voids, 8 tetrahedral voids. Whereas in HCP, I gave you this particularly because children get confused here only. In HCP, Z effective is 6. So octahedral voids is 6, tetrahedral voids is 12. It will be 18 total number of voids. But you must remember that number of atoms, if it is n, octahedral voids is n, tetrahedral voids it's 2n in all the 3. FCC, CCP, CCP and HCP. Okay, that you have to remember. Okay, write down. A compound forms hexagonal close packed structure, HCP. What is the total number of voids in 0.5 mole of it? They are asking what is the total number of voids and how many are tetrahedral voids. So, see, what you have to do, you have to find out the number of atoms. So, number of atoms, how much is there? Those many octahedral voids are there. double that number tetrahedral voids are there. If you add octahedral tetrahedral, you will get the total number of voids. Understood?
Auntie, I don't understand, auntie.
You didn't understand. See, if you have 10 atoms, if I say, okay, you
Okay, auntie.
have 10 atoms. If you have 10 atoms, octahedral voids will be 10.
Okay.
Will be 10 into 220
Okay, auntie.
in both HCP and CCP. Understood? So now what you have to do is you have to know the total, how to calculate the total number of voids. First know the number of atoms. How to know the number of atoms? You know that 1 mole will contain Avogadro number of atoms. So 0.5 will contain half of it. So if it contains those many atoms, those many octahedral voids will be there. Twice that will be tetrahedral voids.
Auntie, so 0.5 into Avogadro number.
Yes.
Okay.
These things are not given like questions. It will be multiple choice question. You have to think fast. Do it. Krupa, do it. Krupa will answer this.
Auntie, so atoms will be 3.011 into 10 power 23.
Okay. So how many tetrahedral, octahedral voids?
Auntie, number of tetrahedral voids is 6.022 into 10 to the power 23.
Very good. Octahedral voids?
So into 2.
3.011
Correct.
into
Total
10 to
number
the power
of voids?
23. 9.033
Very
into
good.
10 to the power 23.
Like that. They will ask in percentage and all. I will tell you, it's very, very interesting topic actually, solid state. And you should know different arrangements they will ask. Like how many how NaCl is arranged, how ZnS is, I will give you all the table. Like how many voids are filled, what are the voids filled, everything I'll tell you. They will ask all that. In spite of it, I could not answer so many questions. They've asked in-depth HCP questions that you don't study at all. I saw so many questions on HCP. I'll tell you few questions I could answer that I'll tell you. Okay. Now next question, Bharadwaj will answer. A compound is formed by two elements M and N. Capital M, capital N. The element N forms CCP. And atoms N, see if I say N forms CCP, okay, capital N forms CCP, how many octahedral voids are there?
2n.
Octahedral.
N.
N. Tetrahedral?
Tetrahedral is 2n.
2n. Okay. Now, the problem asks, atoms of M occupy 1/3 of tetrahedral voids. What is the formula of the compound? Bharadwaj?
Auntie, how do we find this, auntie?
How we find this? See,
Auntie, should it be like 1/3 into 2n for
correct.
tetrahedral voids?
See, I will tell you if it is. See, M and N are there. Okay, N is forming CCP. If N is forming CCP, N number of octahedral voids are there, 2n tetrahedral voids are there. And they are saying M occupies 1/3 of tetrahedral voids. So, M will be 2n by 3 and N will be 1. Or N I can say. M will be 2n by 3 and N. So, it will be 2 by 3 is to 1 or 2 is to 3. It will be M2, N3 will be the formula. Like that. See here you see octahedral voids are not at all occupied. Okay, they are completely left blank. Tetrahydroloids are not completely occupied, only 1/3 is occupied, 2/3 is left. Like that. It depends on the formula of the compound, how many voids are filled or are not filled. As we work out more and more, you will get a clear picture of what you don't miss the class. You will get a clear picture of the chapter. Next, which of the following lattices has the highest packing efficiency? Krupa. Simple cubic, BCC, hexagonal close packing.
Hexagonal close packing.
What is the percentage?
74.
74.
Very good. It should be registered thoroughly. Occupied, empty space, all the three. Hexagonal close packing is same as FCC, same as CCP. Remember, coordination number is also same. This is also same. Okay. Next, Bharadwaj will answer this. An element, write down. An element, this is easier only. It just maths. With molar mass 2.7 into 10 to the power of minus 2 kg per mole. Molar mass 2.7 into 10 to the power of minus 2 kg per mole. Kg per mole forms a cubic unit cell. Okay. With edge length 405 picometer. With edge length 405 picometer. Okay. If its density is 2.7 into 10 to the power of 3 kg per meter cube, 2.7, same value. So try not to use the calculator. 2.7 into 10 to the power of 3 kg per meter cube. What is the nature of the cubic unit cell? What do you mean by this? What do you understand by this problem, Bharadwaj?
And they have given molar mass, edge length, and density. They are asking the nature of the cubic unit cell.
What does that mean?
Does it mean like how much void it contains?
No. They are asking what is the structure, whether it is simple cubic or
Hexagonal.
CC.
Oh, okay, aunty.
How will you find that? If you know the Z effective. Z effective for simple cubic is 1, BCC 2, FCC 4.
Okay.
So we just have to substitute all
these, find out Z effective.
Yes, aunty.
Don't use calculator, do it.
Aunty, can you tell the formula, aunty? I was not there.
D is equal to density equal to Z into M molar mass by A cube into Na. Z into M by A cube Na.
Here A is only 405.
405. But you have to take it in meter. Picometer is 10 to the power of minus 12 meters.
Okay, aunty. So we can take it as 405 into 10 power minus 12.
Correct.
Okay.
Don't use calculator. Just check what do you get. You disturb my sleep also. You don't need so much time.
Aunty, I'm getting approximately 4.
You just see whether you are approximately getting 1, 2 or 4. That's all.
Aunty, so it is HCC?
FCC or CCP. Whatever they have given, you tick that.
Yes, aunty, approximately 4.
4. That's enough. Understood now how to do?
Yes,
aunty.
Okay. Now write down next. I'm going to send all the pics of all these, but you just do all these problems. Xenon crystallizes in FCC. Okay, xenon crystallizes in FCC. Very important, underline FCC. A is edge length is 620 picometer. 620. What is the nearest neighbor distance and what is the radius?
Auntie, can you repeat from first? Your
I'll
voice
repeat.
broke.
Xenon crystallizes in FCC and edge length A is 620 picometer. They are asking what is the nearest neighbor distance? D. Nearest neighbor distance is D and what is the radius? That is R. I gave you the table, no? FCC it is. So what is the formula? FCC, D and A.
D is equal to A by root 2.
Very good. Substitute and half of that will be R. Always D by 2 is R.
R will be A by 2 root 2.
2 root. You take the...
Auntie, I'm getting 536.9.
No.
picometer.
620 by 1.414, ma. Keep it in picometer only, no problem. Root 2 is 1.414.
Five 543.3.
Why you are getting that much? Or I've done it and I'm getting 438.5.
And they should be 620 by 1.414.
I'm getting it as 438.5.
Andy, why 620?
Yes, Auntie, 438. Yes.
Tell me.
Andy, why 620?
620 picometer is the edge.
Oh, because it's 20. Okay, sorry.
620.
It was 60.
And the R is 219.2.
See, you can also use that formula, Krupa, to make it easier. I gave it in the fraction, no? 0.707A. Just multiply it by 0.707. Okay? Next time you do like that. Next, write down. CaCl, okay, cesium chloride has BCC arrangement. And A is 400 picometer. 400 picometer. Bharadwaj will answer this. Calculate A, interionic distance.
Andy, can you repeat from first, Andy?
CaCl, cesium chloride, has BCC arrangement. And its edge length, unit cell edge length, is 400 picometer. Calculate the interionic distance. D.
Andy, root 3 is 1.732, no, Andy?
I told you no, 0.3 by 2 only I have given the fraction. Just multiply by that number.
Auntie, can I say?
Huh?
Can I say? I'm getting 173.2 picometer.
Why, Krupa? Always you're getting the wrong answer.
Auntie, root 3 by 4A.
No. D I am asking, not R. Root 3 by 2.
Oh.
Interionic distance, not radius. 0.866 into 400. Multiply that 0.86 by 6 by into 4. It's easier. We'll finish it off.
446.4.
346, ma.
Andy, 346.4, Andy.
Then I'll have to teach the tables, Krupa. Okay. Next. Bharadwaj, you have to answer. Krupa is...
Andy, yes, Andy, I finished, Andy.
You finished. Now next you will answer, okay? Okay. Sodium metal crystallizes in BCC. I keep telling this. Sodium metal is BCC, sodium chloride is FCC. Children will get confused there only. Sodium metal crystallizes in BCC with cell edge length 4.29 angstroms. Okay?
Auntie, what is the value?
4.29. 4.29 angstroms. What is the radius of the, what is the radius?
Andy, what is the conversion, Andy, from angstrom?
I am telling you,
Ah,
I am telling you, keep it in angstroms only. It is 10 to the power of minus 10 meter.
so no need to convert to
No
meter.
need to convert. Keep the radius also in that only. What is the radius of the sodium atom? That is first question. Second, what is the length of the body diagonal of the unit cell? This is very important. Let me see. If you have understood the class properly, you will answer this. What is length of the body diagonal of the unit cell? Bharadwaj, radius. What is the radius?
1 minute, Andy.
You work out more and more MCQs in this. You will start loving solid state like anything. You won't feel like stopping. Like that it is. I worked out few questions. I'll send you a paper, okay? I'll send you a MCQs paper. You work out that.
Andy, is the radius 1.853?
Correct, 1.86. Okay. Now, what is the length of the body diagonal? If you have understood my class properly, you will answer this. What is the length of the body diagonal?
And should it be 7.43?
Very good. How did you get?
And in the derivation, in the formula, we'll get it as root 3a. So I use that formula.
No, I'm asking how did you get that 7.4 correct answer? Length of the body diagonal.
Yes, auntie, in the derivation, we'll get it, no, auntie.
What we get? That's what I'm asking. Correct it.
That length of body diagonal is equal to root 3a.
Not root 3a. Like that you did.
Or is equal to
Okay,
4r.
okay. Like that you did. Root. Oh.
4r is also
That is also
applicable.
correct. Or 4r you can do.
Yes, auntie.
Correct. Very good. You thought, no, I'm very happy. Length of the body diagonal is 4r. Or root 3a. Correct. Very good. 7 point. Understood, Bharadwaj?
Yes, Andy,
Very
understood.
good. Now, next question. We'll answer one or two more and then stop. I have 8, totally 8. Then I have an octahedral and tetrahedral words. Interesting ones. Then I have a radius ratio. All are very important. Though not given in the textbook. Very, very important. After that, I have to answer so many things are there. I have to tell you so many things.
Andy, board exam starts from 24th, Andy. 24th November.
Oh, we have time, ma. Enough time. I can revise also. Don't worry. Next week, continuously, I will take. Tomorrow also, I can take. Tomorrow also, I can continue with solid state or I can do biomolecules. If you are getting bored with this, I'll take tomorrow biomolecules and again day after tomorrow, I can continue with the problems. No problem.
Hey, tomorrow we have class.
Tomorrow I can take. Will you attend?
Andy, at the same time, Andy.
Same time.
Okay, Andy, we'll see.
Krupa,
I'm not sure, auntie. I'll try.
you try because I'm teaching all the 20 amino acids.
Yes, auntie. Friday
So
is.
anyway, I'll ask and tell Auntie because tomorrow Saraswati Puja, so I'll just ask and tell.
Oh, is it? Plus, please confirm, no? Please confirm because at least 2-3 are there, I can take the class. Otherwise, it is not interesting for me also. That is. Okay? Okay, write down next one. Please message in the group. In FCC, write down next problem. In FCC, edge length is 400 picometer. Edge length is 400 picometer. Find the diameter of the greatest sphere which can be fitted into the interstitial void without distortion of the lattice. Find the diameter of the greatest sphere which can be fitted into the interstitial void without distortion of the lattice. How will you do this?
The radius for FCC radius will be a by 2 root 2 nt.
Very good.
So
Very
diameter means 2 into a by 2 root 2 nt.
Okay.
So 2 will get cancelled. It will be a by root 2.
No. They're asking find the diameter of the greatest sphere which can be fitted into the interstitial void. First find out R. Radius of the
Void. Sphere.
radius of the void. Radius of the sphere actually. Whatever you are finding. Understood?
The diameter is just into 2 no nt.
No. See, they are asking you. See, when you are finding R, no, there. That is the radius of the sphere. But they are asking the diameter of the void. Both are different. Understood? See, in all these D, A, R, that R represents the radius of the sphere. But they are asking radius of the void. So what you have to do, no? First find out R. As usual, a by 2 root 2. You find out that. First find out that. Then I will tell you what to do.
141.4.
Okay, 141.4. Okay, they are asking what is the diameter of the greatest sphere. You know that octahedral void is bigger than tetrahedral void. Correct? So greatest will be octahedral void. So radius of the octahedral void is what? 0.414 times the radius of the sphere. Understood?
Yes, auntie. So 0.414 into 141.4.
That is the radius. And they are asking the diameter. Into 2 will be the diameter. First find out R, radius of the sphere, multiplied by 414, you will get radius of the octahedral void. Then multiply by 2, you will get the diameter of the octahedral void. Tell me the answer. I think I should stop. It's almost time. I will stop. I'll continue from.
Auntie, 117.0.
Very good. 117.08. Very good. Last one, just 2 minutes. I'll finish off just one problem. If the radius of an atom of an element is 75, R they have given 75, and lattice type is BCC. What is the edge of the unit cell? What is the edge of the unit cell? R is given, they are asking A. BCC it is.
And is it 86.6?
No.
A is equal to 2 by root 3 R
Root 3
into R.
And is it 173.2?
173.2.
How, auntie?
R is equal to root 3 A by 4. No. So A will be 4R by root 3.
4r by root 3.
Yes, that is why you should remember that table very well, register it very.
Okay.
Okay. So you tell me whether you want class tomorrow. I can do biomolecules tomorrow, and day after tomorrow I can continue with the problems, different interesting problems. Then I will do with the. Then I'm just left with the
Defects.
defects. Not very difficult. You can finish it off. Defects, I'll do it neatly. You will just understand in one that chart. I'll tell you everything neatly. In the book, it is all kachipichi. It's not good. I'll tell you neatly in one chart. But I have to finish the problems here. I will see if I finish off defects and then work out the problems also fine for me. I would have finished the chapter. I can work out problems.
We'll do that, Auntie. We'll
Yeah.
finish defects and then do the problems.
Do the because problems very important, Bharadwaj here. And not only problems, on radius ratio and how it is arranged. You cannot answer any question, otherwise I'm telling you. You cannot answer any question. How they are formed if you don't understand that. Okay. So I'll stop here. I will see what has to be done. If you are coming tomorrow, you have to tell me. Message in the group. Okay. Bye.
Yes, Auntie.
Thank you, Auntie.